Three, two, one. We are
We are
live.
live.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is it a good morning?
Yes,
Why?
the sun is actually shining and I can hear the birds singing today.
Oh, you've got autumn. What are they singing? Rhapsody in Blue or
Just the two of us.
ah, music to my ears, just the two of us.
Yes.
Okay. So I think Fruitloop, we have a problem this morning. I think we both want to start with something. Um,
Yes.
so I think before we came on air, we decided that we're going to start together. You start with yours, and I start with mine, and we see how the chaos unfolds. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Um, because I think it's just one of the rare instances where you are always prepared, and I am for once prepared.
I think we had an idea on Tuesday and then I don't know if you stuck to the idea, but mine is completely off the rails.
I'm not far behind, actually,
Okay.
but that was your fault.
My fault.
Yes.
Okay.
Because for once in your life, you actually listened to what I say and you did something, and then I took it and played with it.
Ah. I have an idea.
That's what worries me.
Well, I let's change the sentence to say I know in which direction you are heading.
I don't think you do, actually. I gave
Okay.
it. I gave this a lot of thought.
Oh wow.
I gave
How
this
long did it take you to think about it?
quite a long time, actually.
Oh,
It went through several drafts, and it might go horribly wrong, but I don't know. We will see. Okay, so are you going to start with your opening?
yes, yes.
Okay.
No, it's not really opening, but it's something fun.
Cool.
um, did you notice that today it's Friday the 13th?
The thought had crossed my mind a couple of hours earlier, but I have not really given it much thought further. No,
Okay. Are you superstitious?
that depends. I think it depends on the next 60 to 75 minutes. So, but as a rule, no, I am not.
Okay. That's
I have
good to know.
I have a black cat in the house. They bring
Mhm.
bad luck. Friday the 13th. Yeah. Um, we have in November there's Black Friday. We have a cat called Friday. She suffers always on that day, Black Friday, and she's also black. Um, so I mean, I think we're beyond superstition. So I am prepared for whatever you're going to hurl at me. I can't wait.
What about your mom or a wife? Are they superstitious?
I think in my wife, I'm not actually sure. To a certain degree, well, not superstitious in that sense, but she sort superstitious in the sense that Christmas decorations have to be taken down by the 6th of or the 5th of January, first night or whatever it's
Okay.
called. And if they do not get taken down, they have to stay in situ for the remainder of the year until next Christmas. And
Okay.
very much to my very much to my um, low intelligence, something did not get put away. This was her, not me. And she said, "Well, have you found it?" I said, "No, I can't find it. It's in the living room." And I think I found it when I did the deep clean last week. I think I know what she's talking about, but it's not really a Christmas decoration. But okay. Her mind goes in strange directions. And my mother, we were talking about this yesterday because um, she and you share the same star sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of on the edge of Taurus, so I've got a little bit of your star sign in me as well. And she believes in this sort of stuff. She doesn't read the stars, she doesn't read the horoscope, but she said to me quite seriously, like, there is some truth in these things. I said, yes, dear, yes, mother, whatever.
Yes, dear.
Right. So, am I superstitious? In a word, no. God, maybe I should reduce the answers to your questions to yes and no.
Yes or no questions. Okay. Did you grow up with any weird situations where you were told not to walk underneath a ladder or maybe hold your ear when you see an ambulance, anything like that?
Hold your ear when you see an ambulance.
Yeah.
I have never heard of that.
My grandmother used to say, "You when you see an ambulance, you have to hold your ear." I don't know how long.
So given my medical condition, I am a relatively frequent user of ambulances. So what do I do? Do I then
I
sort
don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea.
of right? Um, I think well, I don't think anybody would walk under the ladder because it's just too dangerous. I think my mother would have said, "Don't walk under the ladder because it's dangerous." Get a slap around the face.
Do you know what happens when you walk underneath a ladder,
Do you want me to try?
according to superstition? No?
Oh, what happens?
I tried it. So my mom used to say if you walk underneath a ladder, uh, if you are a girl, you will change into a boy, and if you are a boy, you will change into a girl. We tried it a gazillion times. It didn't change anything.
Well, I'm bloody glad that it didn't happen.
It would
You
have been fun though.
Why don't no, I wouldn't have had my Fruit Loop. Oh, come on. This is not I have to speak with your mother about this. I know she doesn't speak very much English, she speaks more Afrikaans. I will learn Afrikaans to put her in her place very politely and say,
She
please do not
understands
give
English.
okay. Please do not give bad advice to your daughter because it might actually ruin my bien-être, my well-being. Yeah. So
Well, I was like 7 years old, and we decided to try it anyway. So the thought
I'm
behind it
I'm
was
I'm
we'll
glad.
walk underneath the ladder to the other side. If we change, we'll just walk back.
Oh, I don't like being a boy now. It's far too messy. I'm going to go back and become a nice, prim, proper girl.
But obviously, it's just old wives' tales.
Mm. There's actually a lot of wisdom in old wives' tales. In
In
different
some,
in
but
some. Yeah.
walking underneath the ladder does not make
Mm.
sense.
Would it be fun if the bucket of paint tipped over then, wouldn't it? Huh?
Yes, for
Uh,
safety reasons and safety concerns, I understand it,
yes,
but
yes. I suppose we have to put.
changing from a
I,
boy to a girl, no.
yeah, I suppose we, as a podcast to the global listeners of two, we should put in a health and safety warning. Do not try this at home. Yeah. Right. So
Yes,
okay. So
we
where?
we we don't
Uh,
take any responsibility for any changes that happens.
anything, anywhere, at any time in the universe, around the world, and for eternity. There we are. That's the full disclaimer. Do what you want with it. Okay. Right. So where are you taking me with all of this? Because I'm getting a bit curious. Superstition, Friday the 13th.
Didn't you have any of these things? Grandmother closing the mirrors when it was thunder outside, or you're not allowed to take a bath or a shower when it's rainy and thunder.
You're making me feel very, very guilty. I must have had a very deprived childhood, well, because part
No,
of the
I think it was a good childhood because they didn't make you believe any nonsense.
well, you haven't asked the right questions. Um, part of the problem, I suppose, was that we were sort of slightly stuck out in the boonies down in Australia as a kid, and the rest of the
Okay.
family lived in Germany. So I didn't actually have this sort of, which became very formative. Only just beginning to understand the consequences of this at my senior level of progression. Um, that I didn't have all of these interactions. So my grandmother, um, my maternal grandmother, she couldn't actually tell me any of these things because I wasn't around enough, which is probably,
Okay.
she was probably quite happy about that because,
Oh, shame.
yeah, yeah, that uneducated boy. There in the corner there.
Wow. Okay. That's very interesting. So then where I'm taking this, do you know the history of where this actually started? Why people believe in superstition and Friday the 13th is bad luck? Any idea?
It probably has a religious overtone somewhere. Um, some saint did something or so, but I think each individual superstition has its own history. Um, so
Let's focus on Friday the 13th.
right, okay. So you'll probably start educating me because I'm such an uneducated lout. Um, that I was, oh yes, that's right, I remember that. The answer. So tell me about Friday the 13th.
It's actually Norse mythology.
Well, that's close to home. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So there was a 13th guest at a banquet, and this guest caused some chaos and death.
Charming.
And that's how it it explains why the number 13 became bad luck or associated with bad luck. So the myth goes that there was a banquet in Valhalla where
Mm-hmm.
12 gods were invited to celebrate together.
Mm-hmm.
And then one uninvited guest arrived, and he was a trickster god.
Trickster God.
And yes, so he became the 13th guest. And he was jealous because he wasn't invited to this banquet. And then he tricked one of the other gods by shooting a magical spear made of mistletoe. And then this god died.
Shame.
And he was the beloved god of light and joy.
Oh, bit of a party pooper, really, wasn't it?
Yes. So this god was killed instantly, and then his death brought grief and chaos to the gods. And that's why it's considered as one of the Friday the 13th is
So,
considered as a
so the moral,
bad day.
so the moral takeaway from this is that gods are quite human and they have pretty shitty days as well. Yeah, just like the rest of us. Which is
Probably.
actually a perfect segue to my opening. Thank you for giving. Oh God, it's frightening. You know, we do think alike. I mean, yeah. Um, but it does remind me when I was young and innocent. Um, I'm living in London. I worked in a hotel called the London Hilton on Park Lane, 28-story building. You could actually look in Liz's backyard, Buck House, the backyard that she has there, the Queen's backyard, as it were, Buckingham Palace. You could actually look into the backyard of that, and that was a bit of a problem for her that they were building this 28-story building, and you could peek inside when she was cutting the roses and stuff like that, and taking her corgis out for breakfast and so on. But this building, which is actually very untypical, this building had a 13th floor.
Okay.
It was a hotel, 500
Yes.
rooms. It was a hotel, and we had a room number 1313.
Oh wow.
And I kid you not, it was hotel policy that when somebody checked in and we had to allocate them to the 13th floor, we asked them, "Are you superstitious? Do you mind being on the 13th floor? And we have a room number 1313. Is that okay with you?"
Yes, because obviously if the guests arrive, you don't want to have this problem. Now you have to move the guest.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was really weird, actually. Anyway. Okay, so thank you for building the bridge to this. Have you now completed your opening statement by completely showing the two listeners that I'm a complete and utterly uneducated lout of
No.
no intelligence whatsoever? You haven't finished.
that,
Okay.
that no, I'm finished. I'm finished, but that was not the goal.
Oh, it's just a state of mind. That's all. I mean, isn't it? Just confirming.
I'm going to let you think about Friday the 13th.
But yeah, yeah. Rest of the day. Yeah. Today,
Yeah.
I've got a doctor's appointment. So, do you know it's Friday the 13th today, Mrs. So and so? Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Fruit Loop. Be very serious here.
I don't feel like being serious today. It's Friday.
13th, right. Well, I want you to raise your right hand, please. Could you please raise your right hand?
Oh.
Thank you.
I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good.
Well,
It's a
that's not
Harry
actually
Potter sentence.
okay. Well, I'm going to give you a different sentence. Could you please repeat after me? I, Fruit Loop,
I, Fruit Loop,
the one and only,
the one and only,
solemnly promise to have fun,
solemnly promise to have fun,
to seek fun,
to seek fun,
and when fun cannot immediately be found,
and when fun cannot immediately be found,
to invent it.
to invent it.
I promise to notice
I promise to notice
the magic hiding in ordinary days,
the magic hiding in ordinary days,
to ride the occasional unicorn,
to ride the occasional unicorn,
to laugh at the chaos of life,
to laugh at the chaos of life,
and to remember
and to remember
that even regular horses can sparkle.
that even regular horses can sparkle.
I pledge allegiance to curiosity,
I pledge allegiance to curiosity,
strong coffee,
strong coffee,
and the noble art of peeling potatoes
and the noble art of peeling potatoes
while discovering the meaning of life.
while discovering the meaning of life.
So help me God,
So help me God,
the pineapple,
the pineapple,
and all the unicorns wandering quietly
and all the unicorns wandering quietly
through the laundry mountains of this world.
through the laundry mountains of this world.
Thank you. You may lower your hand.
Good job. Babette actually watched our video where you told me to hum. She did the same yesterday.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Mhm.
She liked it?
Yes. I asked her how would you relax or what do you do if you feel like your day is drained of energy? And then she said, hum. And she told me, I saw the video.
My goodness. Oh, well, someone actually watched the video. That's cool.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So I think Fruit Loop, you need to sort of suspect where I'm coming from with
Mhm.
this
I
week.
knew it has something to do with laundry mountains and unicorns.
Yeah, and doodle
Yeah.
horses. Yeah,
And doodle horses.
because last week you put me on the stretching block and made me do things,
Yes.
and I did actually produce copious amounts of diatribe, which nobody reads, but I'm very proud of anyway. But and then yesterday you posted something, two things: your Fruit Loop reflections about Zumba and getting fit, and how
Mhm.
totally energy destroying that can be.
My legs
Um,
are still sore.
are they? My
Mhm.
goodness. I'm not
I
going to
don't know
ask.
if that's because I'm unfit or is it because of the exercises stretching different muscles that I didn't use.
Well, well, I don't actually want to raise the sort of the goal that you set yourself about the 10K.
I know, I know.
So I don't think actually you are unfit, because you did manage to scramble together a 5K run last November,
Mhm.
very in very short time. So I don't think it's unfitness. I think it's actually more the type of exercise. But
Maybe the type, yes.
I'm probably in the next 10 weeks or so hear more comments like, "Oh my, this hurts because you've got these free Zumba classes coming with your
Fun.
friend," which I'm curious to hear about. But so Fruit Loop. So you posted this and your unicorn article yesterday in the Pineapple,
Mhm.
which
Yes.
I did read, and I found it a bit depressing.
Depressing. It wasn't
Yes,
supposed to be depressing.
I thought, well, maybe it was just my state of mind because you're not going through an easy patch at the moment. So I thought, well, have to do my knight in shining armor bit
Okay.
this morning. So I've got a couple of questions here.
Okay.
But
Throw them at me.
with the greatest of pleasure. Fruit Loop, I have actually to ask you a very important scientific question. You said that on Tuesday morning, the laundry mountain and the missing school bag scenario, you wrote about that. So what we need to establish as a scientific fact is, do unicorns also start their mornings fighting laundry? Or do they have a magical unicorn laundry department that ordinary horses like me don't know about? Because
Well, that's easy.
I'm beginning
The
to.
answer is no.
Because I'm
They
I'm
don't fight laundry piles because they don't wear clothes. Easy as that. They just run around naked all day.
What am I going to say to that? Okay. Well, that solves a lot of problems.
Exactly.
Are you recommending anything along these lines to humanity?
Maybe not in public.
What? Not recommending it in public or not doing it in public?
Not doing it in public.
Right. Okay. But in private, I mean, you're heading into
If you feel comfortable doing that, sure.
it's your house.
Just
But
make sure the neighbors can't see either.
well, okay. Well, I'm not even.
I know.
Okay, I'm not the spring chicken anymore, and I suppose, but I don't think I've cut a bad shape. But anyway,
But I don't want my neighbors to see me either.
but there's the added problem that you're heading into winter. You've had a very wet summer. It's the
Yes.
autumn's looking quite damp as well from what you hear. And
yes,
I don't suppose that running around in your birth costume in winter in South Africa, even though it's like our spring, is something that's going to be good for you.
it's not recommended.
It's not recommended. So why can a unicorn get away with it and not you?
Because they have thick skin, they have fur. They are covered even though they are naked.
Okay. Right. So we need to be more thick-skinned, yeah?
I think so.
Hmm. And preferably pink.
Yes.
Pink clothes. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So when I read this, you SpongeBob's going in the background, Xbox machines going crazy.
SpongeBob is still on repeat.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
With
I've seen the same episode at least 6 times of SpongeBob.
What's the fascination of watching it 6 times as a 7-year-old?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, maybe I should educate myself.
I watched it last night with him to see if I can figure out why is this so entertaining, and I just couldn't find a reason, not even one.
Okay, all right. So and then you've got SpongeBob, in the background. You've got your Xbox or your husband's Xbox going mad, and then there's coffee trying to get your brain into gear. But I've known you for almost a year.
Yes.
And all that chaos, you still notice those little sparks of magic. And how do you do it? we're just trying to, get through the day and not trip over the laundry basket and, take dead lizards from underneath tables and have philosophical conversations with dust,
What color is dust?
what color is dust? So, so, so
I have
how
an
do you,
interesting answer to that question of yours.
you're evading my, which one, the dust question or the one I'm actually trying to get an
The
answer from?
dust.
You
No, no,
evading,
no.
you're evading my question, young lady. But
No, I'm
carry on.
not. How do I do it? I think just trying to stay positive.
Trying.
Trying. Yes, try to stay positive. And you see the laundry, you see it's piling up, it's raining outside, and then see, okay, the rain is good. We need the rain.
Can I?
And then
Can I?
then finding the good part in it. Okay, it's raining outside. I can't do the laundry, so I can spend that time doing something else. We'll worry about the laundry tomorrow. And now
I
it's tomorrow, and now we don't have water.
excuse me. Not
Yes.
again.
They are still busy with the maintenance in this area of the water pipes. So they started digging somewhere on top there and they worked their way down and then they started digging at the bottom and they worked their way up and sometimes I can see them here in front of the gate busy working there. So that's not done. So I can't do the laundry today because we don't have water. But the water is only off during the day. We have water at night at least.
Can you set the washing machine so it does it starts automatically at night, and then sort of when you wake up in the morning, amidst the morning chaos of your son not doing what he's supposed to be doing at the time he's supposed to be doing what he's supposed to be doing, that you can sort of like add an extra layer of responsibility into his routine by emptying the washing machine.
Oh,
Or
no.
or you do it when you get back home from having deposited him at the.
I would have to do it. But I don't know if it has a timer. And the other problem is our house is quite small. So you can hear the washing machine.
Ah.
So
If you
and
have
then sometimes the weather is unpredictable because the app will say it's raining tomorrow and it's not raining today. The sun is shining.
well, I'm glad that you have the same issues as I have here in France because the weather forecast is about as reliable as a wet paper bag in heat.
And then
Yeah.
the other day I did the laundry. I hung it outside and I had to take it off at 12 o'clock in the afternoon because it started raining. So I had to run with the basket and take down the laundry because it started raining. But the sun was shining just 2 hours earlier.
I read that. I read that. It was a previous
Yes.
article. And I thought, my God, it's not just me. Yeah, because my wife also in the summer, the washing has to go out on an area outside. Um, and it's sort of like, fog and overcast and drizzling. And no, I'm British. I'm going to put this thing outside because we are used to this kind of weather in England, she says. And then I sort of find myself darting out. I'm, hung it up, and 5 minutes later, the heavens open, the whole water mass has come down, and I'm at this. The neighbors are having a field day. Oh, look, that German guy, he's really strange with the English woman. He's running out to get the washing. Yeah. I feel like a total idiot doing this. But I am a total idiot. I confess this. You know my problem with washing, don't you?
Yes, I know.
Well,
You forget about it.
I have a new one. I have a new
A
one.
new one.
Because yesterday the season started and I put the washing out on an area outside. And guess what happened?
Did you forget it outside?
I did. So on my dustbuster sheet, I have to put another. I'm surrounded by post-it notes now. This is my life. Or I have to tell her, she who must not be named, starting with A from Amazon. Set an alarm for empty the washing machine and then set an alarm for bring in the washing, you idiot, or something like that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh dear.
Yes, you're making notes already. Okay. So as you know, I had a very momentous week after you decided that I should put some order into my chaotic life. And I have to give you a compliment. It really helped.
Oh wow.
It really,
I'm glad to hear.
maybe not in the way that you wanted it to help, but that's because the household here is slightly structured slightly differently
It's a
too.
bit different, yes.
Oh, that's an understatement. Uh, um, but I had great fun communicating with all bits and pieces of furniture and items in this household. Um, then creating paddocks and doing all these wonderful domestic discoveries, etc. And it sort of just sort of stuck with me. It became, like I wrote to you, it's beginning to get under my skin. There's a song, isn't there? Under my skin or something like that.
I don't know,
And
but okay.
I'll send
If
you. I'll
there
send,
isn't one, we have one.
uh, but that's a really nice. I've got a really nice recording of it. I'll send it to you. But anyway, so these really mundane things that nobody really likes doing. Yeah. All
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden they felt different. That you could reflect on them. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's so there's some magic in there. There's some really magical experiences in there. So
Yes.
I'm just wondering, um, don't you think that a unicorn isn't actually something extraordinary, but simply someone who noticed the extraordinary hiding inside the ordinary?
Probably.
Very non-committal answer there.
I can also be a yes.
Want to expand on that?
I just think it depends on how you see things.
And how do
You
you
can
see?
see the house as a whole big mess and it's chaotic and it's a problem. But I think if you find the positive things, like, okay, I will do this room today, then it's done. I'll do that room and that room and that room. And by the end of the week, you feel positive because I did things. But not just the week, every day. You accomplished something, you did something, and you can see the difference.
Well, let me take this further. Not only do you have that feeling of having accomplished something, but you have the feeling of wanting to be in that space because it
Yes.
has become different.
Livable.
Well, not just livable, but just nice. Yeah,
Yes.
you are surrounded by um, you're surrounded by nice objects which you discover again. And
Mm-hmm.
sitting at the dining, I'm going to have a major fight on Monday evening. I know this already because the dining room table was covered with Mary's medical files and all the medical paraphernalia that's been going on for the last 2.5 years. And I just took it all off and put it here in the office. And I'm going to say, if you need to get to this, then it rests in the office. Yeah, I don't want it on the dining table anymore because it just clutters, and it brings a lot of negativity
Mm.
into the whole atmosphere, and
Yes.
you just keep it out. Yeah. She's probably not going to accept that, but that's probably our first argument when she gets back.
It's
But
worth a try.
it's worth a try, definitely.
Something
Um,
I learned. I'm going to give you a tip. Choose your fights.
oh, I do. Don't worry, you're not telling me anything I don't know on that one.
Choose your fights.
Yes. Um,
I
um,
do that.
you have to. I think any general does, or any military person does. There are battles where you just know you're not going to win them, so
Yes.
strategically avoid them. Yeah. Um. Anyway, so it was a revelation, and I'm going to continue. And then let me, so because this, the effect that you have is on this is actually hugely magical. It is pure unicorn.
Yes.
Um, because as you know, I I was contemplating checking myself into hospital because I did have some symptoms which did worry me. Um, and I thought, well, no, just relax, take in the beauty of the environment, go out, stretch your legs, get some fresh air. Yeah, and it works. It really,
Yes.
really works. Yeah. So, and do you think that as we go through this, yeah, we go through our chaotic lives, and there was an incident where I realized you are just as vulnerable to all of this as anybody else. We discussed that, yeah, and we cleared
Yes.
that. That was actually a really good, good lesson there.
Yes.
Yeah. But do you think that as you go through, or as we go through our messy adventures, etc., um, we have to change our mindset, your favorite word, and we have to say, this is not just another strange day, or not just a laundry pile or SpongeBob going on instant repeat or something. This might actually be unicorn material. So that the way that you look at life might actually help other people see their own days differently too. Now, I can confirm that. I am a disciple of the unicorn doodle horse method. I will promote this until the end of my days, which are not very far away, so you don't have to worry too much. But um,
Maybe I need you. I need you to push a little bit longer. Hang in there.
well, I mean, you come, I mean, look at it this way. On Sunday, I felt absolutely god awful rubbish. I did manage to scrape some energy together to have a conversation with the kitchen sideboard, which was very meaningful because nobody else talks to me. The cats just ignore me, and the dust has gone away, and you are off the planet. And um, but yeah, I'm quite happy to do this. Yeah, I'll hang around for a while. Yeah,
Okay. That's good
because
to know.
because by the end of this week, I was feeling quite rejuvenated. Yeah.
Yes.
And this morning I sort of said, okay, so normally I send you an early message, hi Fruit. I said, oh, she's busy. Let her be. Focus on yourself, eat breakfast at the dining table, and then get the out and move your boom boom around the block through the fields and enjoy the beauty of it. Yeah. And I did. And I'm coming back and I feel really, I'm on top of the world. Thanks to the unicorn sitting opposite me.
That's good news.
So
So
do you,
I have one question. Did you manage to do all the rooms in the house? I know
no.
you had the office left and the bedroom.
Bedroom, yeah, and I did not do those for serious reasons. I didn't want to kill myself doing them because then you would suffer. Me promoting your idea, and I don't think that's good for business. Secondly, I didn't have the energy.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
okay, simply for this is, as you know, a gigantic house by
Yes.
any standards. It's actually obscenely gigantic. Um,
Yeah, but it's also understandable because it's spring cleaning. I know there's a lot that needs to be done. It's not just sweeping and mopping the floor.
no, no, no.
And that's hard work. That's
It
hard
it
work.
it is. I mean, it is hard work, but you come out feeling, because we're talking about energy. You come out feeling energized, and then
Yes.
the beauty of it is that you come into a nice environment and you just feel the positive energy. It's like,
Yes.
this is nice. Yeah. Um.
Do you think you'll be able to maintain it
Well,
instead of
this
letting it get out of hand again?
this is the million dollar question, because before I went on air with you, and we did sort of gently skirt around the topic that from Tuesday onwards, my life would be no longer a comfortable solo experience, but a couple experience, and that my wife has her own ideas on pretty much everything, and she will not let loose until she has won whatever discussion there is taking place. She gets something between her teeth and she does not let go, even if it takes 40 years. But I have come to a conclusion that I'm going to divide this house into zones, and I will be responsible for the downstairs zone, and she can do what she has to do upstairs, which is basically the bedroom, and the bathroom has its own rules anyway. So she's responsible for the bedroom, and I'm responsible for the majority of the house downstairs. And now that I've gotten into the swing of things, I can just basically maintain it. And if she's got nothing to argue against, except that I probably haven't done it properly, which is the standard phrase in anything I do, then, let's live with it. Yeah. And I already know that this state of play will continue until around the 12th of April. And then I'm back to the solo unicorn. And then I can take on new lessons from you. I don't want to take any new lessons from you here. I've got to consolidate the new situation.
Yes.
And then I'm becoming your disciple again on the 12th of April, somewhere around.
Okay.
But you never know what happens. Yeah.
Yes. Life happens.
Yeah, it does.
But do you think there's something that you can do in the bedroom to make it easy for her?
Stay out of it.
Maybe some decluttering, or maybe something that's out of place or
No,
shouldn't
no,
be
no,
there.
no, 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 no. If I declutter, I get my head lopped off. I mean, there's two ways we can end this project.
But just your things. No, I don't want you
Well,
to lose your head.
I don't have anything to lose because I don't have money.
Sounds like me. I was actually thinking about this yesterday.
Tell me.
So I have the office where I work. I have my laptop. I have a pencil thingy. To the side, we have the inverter if we don't have electricity, which yesterday we had 2 hours no electricity. Anywho, that's why it looks like I'm plugged in. I need to charge my battery.
Okay.
Yes. And then on top of it, so it's a wooden box and it has a lid that opens and closes. On top of it, I have my handbag. I have my coffee mug that is almost empty. My Kruger National Park one with
Oh, you got a different
elephants
one to
inside.
yesterday. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So the marital status has been replaced by the Kruger holiday status. Okay.
Yes.
Do we read anything in this?
No. I bought two of these mugs, one for me and one for Jean when we were still, or for my husband, when we were still dating.
Okay.
And we still have them. Okay. Anywho, the rest of the house, I don't have things lying around. Oh, sometimes I leave my shoes in the office on the floor. But I don't leave jackets lying around. I don't leave my shoes all over the house. I don't leave my toys all over the house. I don't leave pens. I don't leave mugs or plates or anything. And the same with the bathroom. The laundry basket is there. Take your clothes, dump it into the laundry basket, but no, it gets thrown into the bath or onto the floor. But it's never my stuff. Same in the bedroom. I have a big dresser. My things are packed away. The dresser is clean and tidy. But then I would get into the bedroom, and on top of the dresser there would be a water bottle. It has Bluey on it, so it's definitely not mine. Or Spider-Man. There would be a plate. There would be some snack wrapper or something lying there. There would be toys packed onto my dresser. A torch charging. But it's not mine. So I spend all this time picking up things that is not mine, cleaning up things that are not mine.
I have a solution to that.
I found one. Now I just shout, pick grab your things, put it away. Or I'll take a black bag and throw. That is my what would you say?
Your latest tactic.
Yes, my latest tactic. Or I would tell them I'm going to take a black bag and I'm going to throw everything into the bag and I'm just going to dump it. So Thursdays, it's garbage day. So when the garbage truck comes, it's just going to take your things and drive off into the sunset. So pick it up before I throw it out. It works.
God, I thought my wife was bad.
No, I'm decluttering before I can clean or do anything, but it's not my things.
Well,
it's really not mine.
Well, I'm not like, I am not like that.
That's why I'm asking if there's anything that you need to declutter from your side. But
no,
that's good.
Not from my side. Yeah.
Excellent.
The only space which I consider sort of like my holy sanctuary is the office. I spend an awful lot of time in it, and if it's a mess, then at least I know where I find things. But it's my mess, and I think you said something years ago, at the beginning of this partnership, where you said, well, it's my mess, so it's what it is. Live with
yes.
it. Yeah. And that's fine. And I'm still not quite comfortable with the idea of my wife's medical files sort of being dumped here, because then she sort of invades my mess. I'm not so comfortable with that, but we have another mess across the hallway in the library. The clutter is not so much things lying around, but my wife does not like empty spaces. And if there's an empty space, it has to be filled with something.
Can my husband and your wife get married? They sound like the same person.
It's eerie.
If there's an empty space, there has to be something.
Yeah.
What is this? Don't throw it away. We might need it. I know your wife does the same.
Oh. If this house is going to combust into a fire, I can tell you precisely where the source of the fire is. It's in the attic. Yeah.
Ours is in the storage in the backyard. Everything goes there.
I mean, it is frightening. And
what is your wife's star sign? When is her birthday?
Late October.
Oh, 27th
of October. It's the 27th of October. No. Your husband and my wife are different parts of the year.
I thought they were the same.
No.
They might as well be. They can be twinsies. There's a lot of things. They like to sleep in. They take their time.
Yeah.
To wake up and.
Yeah, and they're always right, no matter what. Yeah.
I beg to differ, but okay.
Well, no. They sorry.
Choose your fights. Choose your fights.
They always think they are. They always think they are right. Anyway,
they got the better ideas.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Anyway, but so here we are. Not one of these horrible, wonderfully beautiful alignments. Here we are. We're actually talking about the same problem with our respective partners.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we need to do is invent a small device called the unicorn magic detector.
Unicorn magic detector. Okay.
And it quietly beeps whenever someone's done something brave or kind or patient or quietly determined in an ordinary day.
Okay.
So if our respective partners actually did what we want them to do, it would beep. So
we might as well just leave the beep.
Well, think positively.
They usually do things we do not ask for. I don't know if it's the same with you, but I usually do not ask, please do this or please do that. But they do things they think is important.
Well, no, I've given up asking because I know it's just,
Me too.
it's going to basically end up in a long discussion as to, the purpose of life.
Why should I do it?
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
is it my responsibility?
Exactly. It's not my problem. Yeah. Um, but anyway, so getting back to this magic unicorn magic detector. So in your life, where do you think that detector would beep the loudest?
Things they do that we do not ask them to do. Like for example, my husband hates washing the dishes, which is fine. I wash the dishes. I don't like ironing, so he would do the ironing. Um, there's other situations as well, but sometimes he would wash the dishes. Then it would beep. When he decides it's time to sweep the floor and wash the floor, it would beep. I don't ask him to do it, but then it would beep. Changing the sheets, the same. He never does that. I do that. So if he decides to do that out of his own, it would beep. Picking up the toys, it would beep. Without screaming and shouting and threats.
You threaten?
I threaten them with a garbage bag.
With a
Just
garbage
throw
bag?
it in the garbage bag and throw your stuff out.
So it's between you, me, and the gatepost, would you actually throw it out, or would you just hide it somewhere strategically?
I would probably dump it in the storage. It depends on what is in the bag.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And then we have a very nice wooden spoon. We named it Pits, as
Okay.
in, I will give you hiding. So then I say, do you want me to go fetch Pits? No? Okay, do it.
I like that idea.
If I don't have to do that, then the beeper will go off. The unicorn detector will actually work.
Okay. So we've got to get cracking on this one because I think it's, judging by what you're saying, you really need one of these unicorn detectors.
It's going to be very quiet.
Okay.
Because I think the only time that it will beep is when I don't scream or shout at them to do something, when they just do it out of their own.
This is a totally new facet of Fruit Loop, a screaming and shouting Fruit Loop. I can't imagine it by the.
This morning was interesting. I had to go to my son's room 6 times to get him out of bed and get him dressed for school. So I woke him up. He fell asleep. I woke him up again. I threw his clothes on his bed. Well, not really threw it, just put it on his bed. Told him, sit up straight, get dressed. He decided, no, I'm going to take another nap. So he fell asleep again. I was done with lunch. I was dressed. I got in his room. He was still asleep. So I woke him up. I said, it's time to go. Today you will go to school in your pajamas. So he got dressed. I opened the doors and I stood outside waiting for him. He came running out with his jacket on his arm, shoes in his hand, socks somewhere. He had them, but it was there. And I asked him, did you brush your teeth? Did you comb your hair? No. I'm like, then why are you here? You can't go to school if you didn't brush your teeth. So he ran back inside, dropped everything on the chair, ran to the bathroom, brushed his teeth. I went in afterwards to help with his hair, and then I came back outside. So I asked him, where's your socks? He showed me the socks, and then he tried to put them on. So you can't put them on. It's wet outside. The socks are white. You can't. It's going to get dirty and wet before you get in the car. So he took everything, got in the car, got dressed the rest of the way. We were late. When we got to school, the bell already rang.
He doesn't
I
care.
wasn't happy. Oh,
No.
no, no, I'm at school.
Yeah.
I don't
Wow.
know. There's only twice this year that I didn't have this problem. The one was the first day of school. He woke up by himself, got dressed, got ready. He was ready 10 to 7. We have to leave at 7. This morning we left at 7:15. The school bell rings at 25 minutes past 7. And the other day was his birthday.
That's always the motivation.
He got up early, he got dressed, he was ready for school. Those are the only 2 days I didn't have problems. The rest of the time, I don't know.
You know, you said, it was 7:15 when you left. It's 6:15 for us at the moment. Another couple of weeks, we're back on some proper time differences, namely 0. 6:15. What was I doing? I was in the kitchen in my dressing gown, quietly emptying the
I
dishwasher.
don't want to hear it.
making myself a cup of coffee, wondering how
I was ready for coffee at that time.
but this is what happens, I do my morning routine. Pretty much know what it looks like. I'm sort of thinking, oh, what's happening down in Fruit Loop's household this
Oh
morning?
no,
What
don't even go there.
what chaos is she? But you see, it's one of these things. Now I know because of other conversations that life is a little challenging for you at the moment. But how do these instances, the serious ones, I mean, the really, really serious ones, and the more kid growing up, you have to get through it somehow, the two of you scenarios. How do you stop all these things, all these obstacles from stealing your unicorn horn?
Doing something that I like and something that I want to do. So when I came back this morning, I made coffee. I switched on my laptop. I sat on my chair, but I took my phone and I read a story.
Good for you.
While I was drinking my coffee. And it's something that I wanted to do. It's a new book that I started reading somewhere on the dark web.
No, don't go that way. But you did something that you wanted to do for yourself.
Yes. And I actually have another book that my sister bought me for Christmas that I want to read. So I think that I would do this on the weekend. So this is what it looks like. Brand new. I don't know what it's about. I will get there.
You're going to promise me to do this? You're going to promise me that you're going to lock yourself up in a room where you cannot be disturbed if you can't sit outside in the garden?
Well, it's turned out to be very nice outside, so I might just do that. I might go outside. But I also have some other things that I want to do that I have to finish before we meet again tomorrow.
Ah, okay.
Ah.
Is that and that is a want, or is that a want? Oh, it's a necessity. Is it a nice necessity? Is it a pleasant necessity?
Yes, because it's something that I want to do. It's something that I enjoy. So whether I read or do this, I will be happy either way.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, I have to say, and again, having at least your own portable bubble. I mean, you live in the situation that you live in, and your family does what it does, and it might actually one day learn. I'm sort of maybe in the unfortunate situation, I'm not actually in that kind of bubble. Yeah, but I have the other scenarios. But you get energy, and one of the things that that I have to say is that, you held up a book. My mother keeps saying, are you reading? I said, I don't have the bandwidth at the moment,
Mm.
but it's beginning to come back.
Yes.
I actually held a book in my hand and I started reading it. There's a picture of it in one of the articles. It was a book that my mother gave me for Christmas. It's set in South Africa, because she's hell bent on me getting down there, and
Oh, well.
this is sort of like the last thing she wants to experience in her life is getting me down 9,000 kilometers to meet you, and that we sit on the same square meter
Yes.
of ground. Yeah. But I think part of all of this is that, what you just said was profound. I do something for me, because you don't just tell people what might be a good idea, but that you give us a way to interpret it. Yeah. And do you think, if sort of people like me, these confused horses, they read what you have written, either in your Fruit Loop reflections or in the Doodle Horse reflections, which you're now slowly producing. Do you sometimes think that, oh my, yeah, I see myself in that. I'm a unicorn too, or I can be a unicorn too. Does that ever sort of enter your thought?
I have a daily reminder of that. But I'm not sure I can mention that.
Okay, no, don't.
It's not very personal, but it's something that not a lot of people agree with.
Okay, I will just leave that one there. It's your, it's private. It's private. We don't want to, share it. But okay, okay.
But I think the important thing, what I've noticed with one of the other people I talk to as well, is to have me time. I get the idea that she's always busy and always taking care of her family, and she forgets about taking care of herself. And then I have another person I also talk to, and she has a lot of free time because her kids are a bit older and moving out of the house. The one is already out, the other one is moving out soon. And she has a lot of free time and she doesn't know what to do with that free time. So basically, I need to find some me time for myself, do something that I enjoy. And on the other side, I also need to hang in there for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean yeah. So I think one gives you the state of play now.
It's almost like a before and after.
Well, no, not before. Yeah, before and after, but something to aspire to or something to be aware of. Yeah,
yes.
Because the other person is a bit older, and she's sort of like the lighthouse down the road, as it were. That at some point this will happen to you. I mean, it's still.
But it's still some time away. But I also saw it with my parents when my sister and I finally moved out, and now they have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So my mom took on a lot of hobbies. She made a lot of new friends. She's always at church busy with something. If you are looking for her, you just need to drive past the church. You'll see her car there. 99% of the week she's there. So I think that also made me realize that eventually you are basically going to be left with just your husband or just yourself, and what are you going to do?
And there is a an appendix to that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I have the facts right, your father will enter that stage, in the foreseeable future, when people retire.
Yes.
Yeah, and you really have to prepare for retirement. Otherwise,
Yes.
it just life becomes obsolete almost. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So some, I don't think I need to tell you this or tell him this. Yeah, but it's something that people tend to forget because we're so focused on living in the now. But the
Yes.
example that you showed, these two people with whom you speak, you've got like the situation now, which is parallel to your situation. You've got the
Yes.
other one, which is sort of a couple of years down the road. And don't underestimate that, because at some point your son will start breaking away already, because he's just going to get old and he'll want to do
Yes.
things. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you've got the next
The
step after
teenager
this.
stage.
this yeah. Well, boys will
So
be boys.
sometimes I think I wish he's in the teenager stage that he does not want to watch SpongeBob anymore.
It'll be something else. It'll be something else that he'll want to watch. Yeah. But yeah.
But at least I don't have to listen to it. Because at the moment we listen to it.
Maybe,
But
maybe, maybe I should watch SpongeBob. I've never actually really consciously watched it.
oh,
So
no, don't waste your time.
okay. Well, you've given me a very long list, which I've got to do a lot of catching up over the weekend, because after, from Monday my life changes again, and I have to put
Yes.
it on hold. This list is getting quite long. Okay, so we're peeling potatoes here.
Yes.
And what do you tell me, Fruit Loop? And when we peel a potato,
Mhm.
does it become more itself when the skin comes off, or what's the interesting part? The skin all along.
I think you asked me this question a couple of months ago.
Well, you've got a better memory than I have, but then I'm also a bit older than you are.
I think it was similar. You asked me if I can't remember the words exactly, but it was something similar. Is the potato better with or without skin?
I can't remember the
Something in those
question.
lines.
So I can't remember the question. So I definitely cannot remember your answer. So can you sort of add some energy to my shriveled brain?
Well, a potato can become anything.
Why, it's coming back to me now. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on what the potato turns into.
Yep.
Sometimes you need vodka. You can make vodka with potatoes.
You can.
Sometimes you need French fries. Um,
I remember this now.
mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes you need mashed potatoes or like a potato casserole. Sometimes you just want to be a samba chuppy. That's the magic.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on what you turn the potato into.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? You can be anything,
Mm.
you can be anything you want. Yeah.
Yes.
You can ride on your unicorn and be the glamorous, sophisticated, wonderful person. And then 2 minutes later, you got to drag your son kicking and screaming to school. Yeah. It's all
At
in
least he wasn't kicking and screaming, but he was running.
yeah. But it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind, isn't it? Yeah. You could be, I suppose you could be trying to get your son through the door, wearing proper socks with the proper shoes and so on. But inside
Fully
you think,
dressed.
and you think, well, I'm still the unicorn in this. This is really not my problem. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But it is my problem because I have to get him to school on time.
Well,
But this morning I thought to myself, I'm just going to wait. I will give him time to do what he has to do. I'm just going to wait because when he's late, he will have to walk through the office.
your office or a principal's office?
The principal or the school's office. They
Oh,
have
okay. Okay.
yes. So he
So,
will
so
have to go through there. He's going to be late for class. Everybody's going to know that he's late.
So the higher authority will put on more pressure, yeah, and
Mhm.
outside authority is sometimes more powerful than the homegrown authority because it just
Yes.
hurts. It just hurts more.
Yes.
All right, okay. Um,
So I decided this morning, if even if I drop him off at 8 o'clock, he will go to school.
so it's not really your problem. You're just delegating the authority outwards and saying, and then you can come back. But my biggest concern is, and this is actually quite serious because you keep telling me about the South African driving habits, which tend to vary quite considerably from standard driving habits in other countries. Um, that you are so flustered and so worked up, not worked out, but worked up, that or another mum in the same situation as you, and that you're going to have an involuntary meeting with severe consequences. So, can you promise me to breathe deeply?
I don't drive like a crazy
I
person.
know you don't. Uh,
I just take my time, do what I'm supposed to do,
Good.
even if we are late. There's one lady that I worked for some years ago. She said, "If you are late, you are late. So you might as well just take your time, get ready, put on your makeup, drive on your own time. If you are late, whether it's 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, an hour late, you are late." And that kind of stuck with me. So whether I'm 5 minutes late or an hour late, I will get there.
You
I
haven't been
don't have
talking
to.
with. Was that lady my wife by any chance?
No, no.
Then she must have been speaking to the same woman.
But it came down to um, some people speeding, which we both saw. And then she
Mm,
said, "Well, that doesn't help. If you are
mm,
late, you are late. So no need to speed." And she used to
mm.
work for the police force um, some years before that.
Okay. All right. Um, in all our conversations over the last 12 months, the mountains have always figured somehow. They're becoming a bit symbolic. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and so imagine in the future, you're riding towards the mountains on your unicorn. You're very
Mhm.
happy. Everything's worked out nicely. Coffee tastes good. And then someone from the past says, or a negative situation has happened, and at some point the person involved comes back and says, sorry, we made a mistake. What does the unicorn Fruit Loop say?
It depends who the person is. It depends who the person is, and it depends what the situation was. But if it's someone like an ex-boyfriend, I would just probably throw him in front of a truck.
All ex-boyfriends of Fruit Loop, you have been warned. Okay. Would you like to give them? Would you like?
They weren't all bad. They weren't all bad. So some of them.
I just had a relationship, but he wasn't bad. Okay. Well, that puts me in
Yeah,
good stead.
some of them weren't bad. They weren't bad.
Mm,
But
but
there's a few that I would throw in front of a bus.
okay. All right. It opens a lot of doors. I'm not going to even attempt that
I
one.
know it's going to take a long time to close those doors.
Maybe you should just put. And we were talking about this yesterday at lunch, weren't we? And then you said, we were talking about one of my ex-girlfriends, and well, I sort of mused, well, what happened to her? I said, just leave it there. Just leave it. Don't.
Yes, yes.
Maybe the past is the past. Okay, right. But I'm still looking at these mountains.
I told my husband the other day I'm going to the mountains, and he said he's coming with, but we are leaving my son behind. So I said, no, the idea is for me to go alone. You stay, both
So,
of you. When my son heard it, he said, when are we going? So I'm like, no, I'm going alone.
So tell me, what do these mountains actually look like for you right now?
Well, today, after the crazy morning, laundry still in the in the laundry bin, it actually would be someplace calm and green and sunny
Mm.
with just me.
What would you do?
Read, maybe draw, nap, take a nap.
Mm. Which, if it's a nap, it's probably an afternoon sleep lasting about 4 hours, which is your body telling you that you need it. Yeah.
Need it. Yeah,
Mm.
maybe that. Then make a campfire, sit next to the fire, just look at the stars. Because my nap is going to be so long, it's going to be dark already.
And then some magic waiter will appear with you with your favorite food.
No,
No,
don't even. No,
no,
I'll
no.
just grab something, a snack or whatever.
That's the snack that's wandering past, uncooked, the size of an elephant.
Oh, there would be something in the fridge. I don't know what, but anything.
So you would actually take the food with you in advance, yeah? Okay,
Yes.
so you are prepared. Yeah. Okay.
So I will plan how many days I'm going to be there. What do I need to take to survive? And less preparation.
Hmm. So is there any way you can do that without going to the mountains? Because I know the mountains that you're dreaming of are about 6 hours away, and it's fairly expensive to get there and do that and so on. So if you've got something close by where you can, where it's safe and you can actually do that, maybe not for the night, but for the afternoon.
There's a place not too far. I can have a picnic there.
Well, do that.
I won't do it alone.
Loyalty.
Yes.
Yeah. Loyalty
I,
first.
I will I will feel too bad if I do that alone.
But you want me time.
I can do that around here. I just tell them, leave me alone.
Okay.
They already think I'm angry all the time, so I might as well just say, leave me alone.
Okay. So you see what I'm trying to do here, because you are an incredibly strong woman and very, very insightful. I've noticed that in the last 12 months working with you, not just working, but just having some very personal conversations as well. That you know people like us who sort of the regular horses who trip through life, as you do as well. Um, uh, what would the unicorn in you like to say to people like us?
Hang in there. Take a deep breath. It will be okay. If it doesn't matter in 5 minutes, don't worry about it.
Okay, just wait.
It's not going to matter tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All
The
right.
laundry is another case. It's not going to matter tomorrow, but maybe the day after when there's no undies left in the closet. That's tomorrow's problem.
Okay. All right.
Just make sure you have enough undies.
Pick your battles, eh? All right. Okay. So, Fruitloop. I want you to raise your right hand again one more time.
Okay.
And repeat after me, please.
Okay.
I, Fruitloop,
I, Fruitloop,
the one and only,
the one and only,
solemnly promise to have fun,
solemnly promise to have fun,
to seek fun,
to seek fun,
and when fun cannot immediately be found,
and when fun cannot be What?
Cannot immediately
Cannot immediately be found.
to invent it.
To invent it.
I promise to notice
I promise to notice
the magic hiding in ordinary days,
the magic hiding in ordinary days,
to ride the occasional unicorn,
to ride the occasional unicorn,
to laugh at the chaos of life,
to laugh at the chaos of life,
and to remember that even regular horses can sparkle.
and to remember that even regular horses can sparkle.
I pledge allegiance to curiosity,
I pledge allegiance to curiosity,
strong coffee,
strong coffee,
and the noble art of peeling potatoes while discovering
and the noble art of peeling potatoes while discovering
the meaning of life.
the meaning of life.
So help me God,
So help me God,
the pineapple,
the pineapple,
and all the unicorns
and all the unicorns
wandering quietly through the laundry mountains of this world.
through the laundry mountains of this world.
There you go. Thank you. Peeling
My
Potatoes 38.
Yes.
I had fun.
That was a lot of fun.
And next week we sing Happy Birthday because
Yes.
wonder, oh wonder, it marks the day when this whole adventure started.
Yes.
By you reaching out to some old goat somewhere, an old man.
Yes.
You said, I'm going to write to an old man, or I'm going to speak with an old man.
I received a message from an old man.
Okay. And it became quite the adventure.
Yes, it did.
And that's it for this one, episode 38. It was brilliant. Thank you
Yes.
very, very much. Yeah.
It was fun. Thank you.
Take care. See you next week.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.